This is a Fox News alert. The other big breaking story tonight is on Capitol Hill, where it appears that the controversial immigration deal is now officially dead. A second attempt at cloture tonight has failed, 15 votes shy of the needed 60 to end the debate. Majority Leader Harry Reid, that was a bad mistake, has said that if this vote failed, the Senate would move on to other business, and all signals point to exactly that. Analysis shows that the Bush administration's support of the bill was the most discussed topic on talk radio the past 2 weeks, and the radio hosts were particularly harsh in their critique of the bill. Is all this talk influencing senatorial support? Joining us to talk about this, radio talk show hosts Alan Stock and Kerri. Good to have you both with us.
Great to be here.
In Las Vegas. Yes. You know, I'm a talk show host, as we all are. We all do talk radio as well as television. But I happen to think that occasionally talk radio hosts are a little too self-congratulatory and take responsibility for things that they probably have nothing to do with. Do you think you influence the vote?
You know what? I think that our listeners, our talk radio listeners themselves did not like what they heard. They didn't like what was going on, and they said that they did not want to give amnesty to all these people. They wanted this thing to be either changed or eliminated. Yeah,
I know, because talk radio hosts and listeners tend to be conservative. You don't agree with Alan, though, on a lot of stuff.
Not everything. I do. I mean, we do agree on a lot. But I happen to think that we do have some kind of pull here. I do believe that, and I don't think it's really self-congratulatory, as you put it. But I really do think that we have a voice, and there's a lot of.
We certainly have a voice. But do you think the Senate? Do you think the House? Are they listening to you? Are they listening to your shows? Are they listening to the listeners? Are the listeners again? Are you inspiring them to go call their representatives and make their voices heard? And do you think that's what caused this bill to fail?
No. You know what? I do think though there are people that actually call us up and say, "Hey, I wrote a letter. Hey, I made that phone call." So I actually do think that some of our listeners do and can make changes.
Do you agree that this bill should die?
I do. Actually,
so you both agree on this?
We do agree on this one.
Absolutely.
First of all, I think it's a bad bill, but I think it's bad for different reasons, because it doesn't help. The workers can come in, temporary workers have no pathway to citizenship. You're throwing billions of dollars at a wall that isn't going to work.
Go get them,
You've got all these triggers that have to kick in first anyway, you know, you've got to go back. The illegals here have to go and do touchback to their home country. They're not going to do that.
Alan, all we have to do is wait. Every time they get out there and they demonstrate out there and they hold signs up saying, "I'm illegal and I'm proud of it." We know who they are. We scoop them up. We return them to the country of origin, and then we build their country. Then we build their country, and we get reimbursed for it. It'll work every time.
Alan, let me point out something here. These guys in Washington, they wanted to push this bill through in 1 week. Remember? And it's very interesting. Rush Limbaugh was a strong voice. Laura Ingraham was a strong voice. Mark Levin, Neil Bortz. You guys were strong voices, and it was really the new media that got out the information about the cost impact. I believe we did have an impact.
I think we did have an impact, and I think that we had an impact along with the people in this country just don't want giving amnesty to 12 million people. We've had amnesty before in our history a couple of times. Has it worked?
No.
Well, we have porous borders. This particular bill doesn't provide for any type of guarantee that we're going to have solid borders from this point on. There's no money to be able to solidify the borders.
Well, let me ask you this.
It's a waste.
Well, by the way, I missed the yellow jacket.
Thank you very much.
This is a very inside joke for my friend in Vegas. Kerri, by the way, welcome to the show. So
Thank you.
Can I tell everybody who your dad is? Because I'm a big fan of
I'm very proud of my father.
Your dad is Casey Kasem, one of the most gifted and talented and well-known radio broadcasters in history, and you're now following in his footsteps. But I think we do have a voice and an impact, and people are at least telling us that. I don't know how big, but isn't it great we have the alternative media?
I think it's wonderful. I really do. I mean, I love doing what I do. Now, I'm following my father's footsteps. He plays music. I'm talking politics and lifestyle issues. But I'm definitely following him in the radio. But I think we definitely have a voice. And I have to say that, I mean, talk shows, whether you're on the air talking about it, whether you're on television talking about it, we definitely can incite change. I believe that.
And give voice to others.
Absolutely.
And we can't make people call or listen. We can only
offer them a chance.
By the way,
we give voice to others on both sides of the fence, because there's now something called progressive talk radio as well.
Nobody cares about
there is, but it's not doing anywhere near as well, and because in the future probably
there aren't as many of us yet.
Except for you.
But we're building. Thank you very much for being with us, both of you. Good to see you both again. And we will have all the information for you to get your tickets for this year's Freedom Concerts coming up. We'll tell you all about it coming up next.